And a very good evening to you from rainy Nairobi. My name is Shiksha, Arora, of course, with the sign language interpreter, Brian Muraru, as we give you the update on the top stories tonight on Easy Friday, KBC Channel 1. Remember, you can interact with us on social media. Hashtag Easy Friday at KBC Channel 1, at Shiksha Arora on Twitter and on Instagram. Let us know where you're watching from. First things first, let's get right into tonight's highlights. Mombasa's rain made ocean. Hundreds of families in the coastal county of Mombasa displaced by flash floods.
EACC are continuously dealing with cases of people securing jobs or attempting to secure jobs with fake certificates.
Fake brains at work. Anti-graft body EACC now says the job market is awash with fake academic papers.
We are therefore called upon to understand proactive interventions in furtherance of a stronger and broader conception of defense and security.
And the National Defense University of Kenya holds its inaugural graduation. And our top story tonight in this live broadcast, where hundreds of families in parts of the coastal region are tonight spending the evening huddled in various shelters after their houses were marooned in flood water. Now, videos that were shared on social media showed heavily flooded roads, stranded motorists and some residents attempting to swim to safety. As Janae Karisa now reports, locals say they are in need of relief assistance in a desperate attempt to survive the wrath of Mother Nature. Take a look.
Meet Ali Mwadumbo, a resident of Utange Kisauni constituency. This is the status of his house after his fence gave way to the rushing waters on Thursday night. His neighbors came to his rescue, but not before he incurred some losses.
Sasa maji yamejaa na akaingia ndani kwa lazima. Nimeharibikiwa. Vifaa vyangu vingi vya elektronika vimeharibika. Walisema wanatengeneza culvert zingine hapa ambazo zitatusaidia kwa hali kama hii, lakini hakujaja mtu.
At the Kiembeni Junction, locals were forced to wait at least 5 hours for the water levels to subside.
Jana usiku na leo asubuhi mvua imenyesha zaidi. Kwa hivyo tuna uhakika hizi nyumba zitakuwa nyingi zaidi na wale ambao wameathiriwa watakuwa wengi zaidi. Ile idadi ambayo ninayo ni ya jana, ilikuwa ni familia ama nyumba 100 na ikiwa nyumba yako iko sawa, afadhali ubaki nyumbani kwa sababu afya yako ndio muhimu zaidi.
Basi pia lilikuwa limesimama pale, limekwama na basi lilikuwa na watu ndani. So pia sisi kama vijana pia tukajumuika, tukasaidia wale watu pale, tukawatoa na kitu kidogo.
Hata shida pia siku ya leo siwezi pita kwa hii maji kwa sababu hiyo pesa wenye wanavukisha watu wanahitaji sina. Na niko na kama stage 3 za kuvuka ndo nifike nyumbani na kila stage ni 100.
Tunaomba kama serikali inaweza kuja na kutusaidia.
However, the same could not be said for the Old Malindi Highway. This lorry got stuck as it attempted to cross.
Si barabara ndogo ya kuachiliwa hivi mpaka iharibike. Ni barabara ambayo inataka ulinzi, inataka utunzaji so that iweze kutumika kwa usawa.
This state of affairs was also witnessed in various parts of Changamwe, Nyali and Jomvu constituencies. Emergency lines have been opened to the locals to report incidents to the disaster response team.
Biashara zetu ndogo ndogo hizi za vibanda, naona vibanda vimebomoka huko, hata tujui kesho tutakunini wapi, tutaenda wapi, tutakula wapi, na ndio biashara yenye tumetegemea sasa hii.
Vitu vyetu mingi zimeingia maji kwa nyumba. Hasa watu wanaoishi nyumba za chini hizi. Kidogo jua kuna afadhali. Na simu tumepiga kwa county, tumepiga kwa hakuna usaidizi, yani kwa ufupi. Tunaomba usaidizi.
In Tana River County, a mass exodus was witnessed as residents of Bandi village in Tana Delta abandoned their homes for higher ground. Kenya Red Cross Regional Manager Hassan Musa says the makeshift camp has been stocked with supplies to accommodate the locals.
Maji ni nyingi, iko na mtoto, iko na mizigo, wengine hana pesa. unaenda tu hivi hivi, unaenda unabeba na kichwa na hatuwezi sisi pia.
Tayari Gadeni, kijiji kinaitwa Gajeni, imekuwa submerged. Watu hao kuanzia jana tuliwatoa. Dumi pia area ilikuwa mbaya zaidi. Upande wa Garseni West ndio mbaya sana, kuanzia Handaraku, Odole, Kikomo, hiyo area zote mpaka Chanamuma, hiyo area inakuwa mbaya. Saa hii tunatumia boats kuwafikia watu.
As Kenya Red Cross, we promise that all those who have moved from this area, that will provide them with shelter and mosquito nets and any basic needs that they may require.
Over 11,000 families across the county will be affected by the ongoing flood. A helpless mood continues to engulf the locals here. Their only hope is that help arrives at the nick of time. Juni Karisambele from Mombasa County.
Now, in other news, President William Ruto has challenged the National Defence University Kenya as well as other institutions of higher learning to devote some of their research to security. Now, speaking at the institution's first graduation ceremony, President Ruto said research was key in informing decision makers on how to handle the myriad of challenges to realise sustainable development. Here is Abdiaziz Hashim with this report.
President William Ruto this morning led the National Defence University Kenya in Lanet, Nakuru County, in its first graduation ceremony since receiving its charter in 2021.
As pioneers, there will be great expectations on your ability to deliver your respective roles and the articulation of your respective national discourse in a way that adds value and accelerates the attainment of our national aspirations.
This is where the Commander-in-Chief sought to address the perennial insecurity challenges witnessed in the North Rift that has left a number of people dead and thousands displaced due to banditry.
I encourage the university to significantly increase its capacity of world-class research and innovation in order to develop effective solutions to current and emerging security challenges, especially those with a transnational dimension. The assignment that I gave when I was here to research on what is going on in the North Rift, the security situation in the North Rift, I am told that some students are writing their theses on those subjects, and I'm looking forward to what they will say about our security.
President Ruto said institutions of higher learning like the National Defence University need to tailor some of their research on security issues to inform interventions and strategies on dealing with emerging and complex security concerns.
We still have serious threats of terrorism, radical extremism, radicalization, that continuously put pressure on the security of regions and nations. Lamu is a case in point. Northern Kenya is a case in point. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I think these are areas. If we can get some students to do their thesis, either master's thesis or PhD thesis in these fields, it will help us inform our national strategy as we tackle these security challenges.
Remember that the global security environment is becoming increasingly volatile, uncertain, and complex, ambiguous, and the dynamics will need renewed leadership.
Cabinet secretaries in attendance said research, innovation and inventions were key for the institution of higher learning to attract collaboration and funding for their operation.
The symposium on cybersecurity brought together over 500 in-person and online participants to discuss ways to curb threats in the cyberspace and leverage the opportunity therein for national development.
I am fully aware that matters relating to education are close to your heart. This is evident from the reforms your government has instituted in the education sector, which are meant to streamline the sector and ensure education opportunities are available to all.
President William Ruto has further stated that the national government has allocated more funds to the TVET institution in the supplementary budget of 2023-2024. Abdiaziz Hashim from the National Defense University, Kenya, in Lanet, Nakuru County.
Now, Raila Odinga has told ODM members of parliament and county assembly members not to disrupt the devolved units, especially those led by governors from Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition. Now, the opposition leader who addressed ODM parliamentary group meeting in Nairobi with some leaders eyeing higher elective offices in Nairobi said some leaders were actually causing chaos, in the counties to gain political mileage, thereby interrupting service delivery. Giverson Maina now has all the details.
ODM party leader Raila Odinga on Friday read the Riot Act to the party members, discouraging them against early campaigns.
Then you have people elected members of parliament who are campaigning to be governors. You have hardly served the people as a member of parliament. You already are declaring and you have in a committee campaigning to be a governor.
While chairing ODM parliamentary group meeting in Nairobi, Raila said the leaders in office should be allowed ample time to serve until the end of their tenure.
Allow those who have been elected in those respective positions to serve now, giving them the support that they need, so that they either succeed or they fail.
Raila's sentiments come after the impeachment of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza, who was, however, rescued by the Senate.
It is not right, first, because we see a lot of enmity being generated among our members, because everybody is now already in a full swing campaign 4 years later.
The opposition leader denied claims that ODM was losing grip of the coast and western regions.
The ODM party has stood the test of times. We boast of support from all the corners of the country, and that is represented in this meeting here today. To make the party stronger, we have embarked on a nationwide exercise of membership recruitment to enhance our numbers.
The legislators vowed to pressure the government to reduce the cost of living.
Our members in both houses are advised to continue standing with Kenyans and to speak for them and oppose any legislation, bill or motion that is unfriendly to the people.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader also maintained that the government must lay bare the oil agreements signed by Kenya, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates.
I want the government to show the memorandum of understanding that they've signed between the government of the Republic of Kenya and the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the government of the United Arab Emirates.
Giverson Minor, Easy Friday.
And with that, it's time for us to take our first commercial break, but we will be back shortly. Don't go too far. This is Easy Friday. Welcome back. Now moving on with the live broadcast where there was drama in Ruiru, Kiambu County after an armed robber sought refuge at an Equity Bank branch to escape mob justice, only for police officers on patrol to actually go and arrest him. The suspect, who is now in police custody, had robbed a customer of 54,000 shillings at a nearby M-Pesa outlet. Take a look.
The robbery suspect is said to have trailed his unsuspecting victim from a nearby Kenya commercial bank. Oblivious he was a target, the customer had already handed part of the money to the M-Pesa agent when the robber drew a pistol demanding to be given the money.
Mwenye kuweka pesa alikuwa ametoa shilingi 1,200 na tayari alikuwa amepatia agent hiyo pesa. Agent anapohesabu alikuwa na shilingi 54,100 kwa mkono, na hizo ndio alipata kuchukua wakati alimtishia na bunduki.
The M-Pesa agent is said to have raised the alarm, attracting the attention of members of the public who swiftly responded.
Kuangalia tukaona watu wamekuja wakiwa wengi sana, na kwa ile umati ya wale watu mbele kulikuwa na mtu mmoja alikuwa ameng'ara vizuri, mzee mwenye heshima, amevaa akona suti, amevaa tai.
Fearing for his life, the suspect fled to a nearby Equity Bank. Unfortunately for him, Police officers on patrol promptly apprehended him and recovered the 54,000 shillings he had stolen and a pistol.
Ni mtu amevalia suit, amevaa smart na alikuwa akiingia kwa M-Pesa shop alikuwa amejifunga uso na mask.
Tilio Marco for Easy Friday.
Now, the Inspector General of Police, Jafet Kome, and Director of Criminal Investigation, Mohammed Amin, have been summoned to appear in court physically on Monday, 20th of November 2023, over the alleged abduction of a Nairobi County employee. Now, Justice Chacha Mwita ordered the two to appear in court and explain the whereabouts of Osman Khalif, a personal assistant to Nairobi County Governor Johnson Sakaja, who is said to have been kidnapped at Sarit Center on Friday, 10th of November 2023. Take a look.
On Friday, Judge Chacha Mwita ordered Inspector General of Police, Jafet Koome, and Director of Criminal Investigations, Mohammed Amin, to appear physically in court on Monday.
The Inspector General of Police, or his most senior representative, the Director of Criminal Investigations, or his most senior representative, do appear before this court on 20th of November 2023 at 10 a.m.
The judge's orders came after Law Society of Kenya President Eric Theuri, lawyers Duncan Okacha and Oringo Waswa, representing Osman Khalif, informed the judge that the orders issued by the court seeking to have him or his abductors brought to court have not been complied with.
So they abducted him, went with the petitioner, and so the first petitioner was left there, and they left.
The third respondent, my lord, because this is where this matter was reported. They have answers to this particular matter, and if they don't have, that is the reason IPOA is also part of this matter.
Justice Chacha Mwita has also ordered Safaricom PLC Limited to produce car tracking records of abductors' vehicles.
The owners of the mall are hereby directed to supply to the first petitioner or her legal team and to the court CCTV footage for November 10th covering the events surrounding the abduction and movement of the petitioner as well as the motor vehicle.
According to the family lawyers, Osman, who is an employee of Nairobi County, was abducted a week ago while in the company of his wife, who was left at the parking at Sarit Center in Nairobi. Elsewhere, 8 fraudsters have been arraigned in court for attempting to defraud Omid Karhani of $36,000, which is approximately 5.4 million shillings, on the pretense they will facilitate the transfer of $4 trillion.
840 USD currency notes for 100 denomination, bearing serial numbers as per attached sheet, knowing them to be false. Is it true or not, Peter Kisane?
Not true.
They were also found in possession of 3 military boots, 2 Django green trousers, 2 military jackets, 2 Angola shorts resembling Administration Police Service uniform, without written authority from Inspector General of Police. Ruth Wamboi for Easy Friday.
Now, approximately 13,000 out of the 193,000 preterm babies born each year in Kenya die. Tessie Mudavadi, the spouse of the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, is now calling for concerted effort from all stakeholders in the maternal health sector to ensure the worrying trends are reversed. Tessie spoke as she distributed infant incubators, incublankets and other related items to the 4 western Kenya counties of Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma and Busia.
A lady luck smiled on the 4 western Kenya counties of Kakamega, Busia, Bungoma and Vihiga as they received preterm incubators and related items. This during celebrations to mark World Prematurity Day.
Today, as we launch Okoa Malaika, which is a preterm aid program and is a partnership between the Mudavadi Memorial Foundation Trust Fund and Ushiriki Wema, we shall be distributing infant incubators, InQ blankets, footprints, which shall be donated to Bungoma, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga County Referral Hospitals, and of course where we are here at Itando.
And these equipment targeting the infant and the newborn, the incubators, the warmers, Your Excellency, itatusaidia sana kama kaunti ya Vihiga, kama sehemu hii ya Western na Kenya kwa ujumla, kuhakikisha kwamba tunatekeleza majukumu ya kuhakikisha kwamba watoto wetu wanaweza kuzaliwa na wanaweza kukua kwa ile hali ambayo watakuwa na njia njema ya afya.
Kenya records about 193,000 preemies annually, and unfortunately 13,000 of them succumb due to lack of proper equipment and other related items. Tesi Mudavadi, through the Mudavadi Trust Fund, has launched a project dubbed Okoa Malaika that seeks to reverse the worrying trend by ensuring referral hospitals across the country are well equipped to care for the preterm babies.
With the appropriate medical equipment and support measures in place, preterm babies do make a full recovery and thrive as human beings.
Hata mimi mwenyewe naongea, nilipoteza mtoto wa aina hiyo 6 months kwa sababu hii haikukua. But now I can see during this time umechukua jukumu, na hii ndio Mungu ametumia wewe kukuja kuokoa watoto wetu katika Kenya mzima.
Kwa sababu tunajua kwamba watoto wengi wanakufa mapema. Na wanakufa mapema because wamezaliwa kabla siku hazijafika. Lakini kulingana na zawadi ambayo umetuletea, tunajua kwamba watoto wengi wetu wataweza kuishi.
Speaking in Vihiga County, she pledged to work closely with community health promoters to ensure women deliver in hospitals and those with preterm babies get the required postnatal care. Women were also encouraged to enroll for the Linda Mama program, a government-sponsored program that ensures pregnant mothers deliver in hospitals for free.
Make sure you register with Linda Mama. Hii mambo ya kila saa kuitisha pesa ya harambee ndio upatiwe mtoto iliisha. The government of His Excellency William Ruto has taken all measures to make sure that our mothers give birth in dignity.
Achola Simon, Prime Edition, Kisumu County.
Now, Kenyan students at the Regional Center for Management of Resources for Development will soon benefit from capitation funds from the government if a proposal by the Ministry of Lands sails through. Now, Lands Ministry Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says she will pitch the idea to her counterpart in the Ministry of Education so that students, especially those from underprivileged backgrounds, benefit. The institution serves students from more than 20 member states of the Eastern and Southern Africa regions.
Unveiling of the new Regional Center for Mapping of Resources for Development Complex at Kasarani, Nairobi County. The ultra-modern complex will benefit students studying land mapping, technology, geospatial sciences and information communication technology. Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome say more funds will be sought to enhance learning at the facility.
Humble request that as a Cabinet Secretary with my peers here, standing here on behalf of His Excellency the President, we do not have a choice but to accept that request. By end of today, I will talk with the Minister for Education, my brother Machogu, who will be able to help us maybe remove the barrier or the block that has been there so that the students can access as quickly as possible. And I know we are in the process of processing.
Wahome's pronouncement coming after the institution's Director General, Dr. Emmanuel Nkurunziza, revealed that they squeeze budgets to support needy students.
This year, we tried in our own way to find money from projects to support 40 students who are almost dropping out of their courses because they could not afford. But these were bright students, so we had to look for some of our projects to cover their area so they continue their education.
On his part, Lands and Physical Planning Principal Secretary Nixon Korir termed the move as a major milestone in the land sector.
The current world, we are not in the world of measuring intelligence on how good a person can speak English. Because English is just like language, like Kinyarwanda, like Kiganda, like Kiswahili. I think the focus now is technical knowledge and knowledge that can be useful to the current world, and technologies, the drone technology that we're employing now.
The institution offers 4 satellite data imagery products: very high resolution data, medium resolution data, and low resolution data. Parsai Frederick reporting for Easy Friday.
Now moving on, globally, dolls are seen as toys that are used by children during playtime. However, in the past, they have been used in rituals and ceremonies across Africa and other parts of the world. This week on My Culture, we shed light on different types of traditional dolls that have been used in the past and present by different communities. Take a look.
National Museums of Kenya, an exhibition has been curated. Spearheaded by Museum Labs, the collection aims to focus on doll making as well as the present and future of dolls in Africa and Europe. Today, dolls are often seen as toys, however, they are also subjects used in rituals and for teaching about a community's way of life. In the past, the dolls were used during rituals and ceremonies that bring a ray of hope during situations that seem desperate. In many cultures, dolls also have magical and religious significance. They are made of readily available materials including cloth, wood, wool, beads, metal, among other materials. Many of the dolls are made by individuals or groups, while others are produced on a commercial scale. African dolls are as unique as the communities that they originate from and are handmade with techniques that have been passed down for generations. The exhibition delves into different types of dolls that precede the colonial period and many that have survived in the communities to date. Across the African continent, there are ritual practices and taboos that relate to aspiring and expectant mothers. These involve dolls believed to bring fertility, especially when one has been unable to conceive for a while.
These dolls are used by people who are hoping to have children in the future or are having challenges having children. So once the woman is able to conceive, during the conception period also these dolls help to ensure that they have a safe expectancy period and also safe delivery. And once they have a successful delivery, many of these dolls are given to another female relative in that community.
Some of the communities in Kenya that have incorporated fertility dolls in their culture include the Samburu people, whose doll is dubbed Dito Barabar. These are used by girls to pretend that it's a baby to play with. When the girl gets married, she leaves the doll behind in her mother's house. It is passed down to the younger sister. Turkana community with the Ikidet doll. These dolls are made by girls who aspire to have children in the future, while others are used by women who have not been able to bear their own. After delivery, successful dolls are passed on to younger sisters. They are hung in the houses to promote fertility and around the neck whilst dancing. Other communities across Africa include the Bele community of South Africa, the Namji community of Cameroon, ancient Egyptians, the Akan community of Ghana. Other types of dolls include Abaherero and Nama dolls that symbolizes the Abaherero and Nama people who were victims of a genocide by German colonial authorities in the early 1900s. It's a way of remembering the victims of the violence.
Through remembering that period, people can be able to heal and move on.
Straw dolls used in Germany made using the final yield of the harvest to ensure fruitful yields in the next season. At the same time, there were rain-making dolls aimed at invoking rain. The Giriama community at the coast region used the doll dubbed Mdoli. During severe drought, the doll was used as part of rain-making ceremonies, which were held under a baobab tree. Other communities in Africa that used rain-making dolls include the Chewa people of Malawi, Other types of dolls include healing dolls. The Zar people of Egypt use the Rakusha doll in the Zar ritual, which is a ceremony meant to heal a girl or woman who has been possessed by the evil spirit known as jinn.
Then we have a healing doll from Egypt and Sudan. They are meant to protect people from who have been have the evil eye and have maybe illnesses or such misgivings. So a certain ceremony is performed so that the people may be protected from such occurrences.
During this event, everyone wears white costumes and puts the doll on a covered tray with incense. The participants move around while dancing to the uniform beats of drum called a rik, accompanied by prayers and reading verses from the Holy Book.
Okay, there's the disability doll that is represented in a photo so that to show that there are people like this in the community who are just people like any other and they should be respected. We also have dolls from across Asia, like Japan and China. Then we also have dolls represented there from the Caribbean. And this just shows that the culture of doll making is universal. And it's something that should be promoted. And we are all alike.
However, this traditional practice faces a threat of disappearing and extinction due to various internal and external influences.
It's one of the disappearing cultures, especially within Africa. So many people now do not make the traditional dolls in the way they would make them before. So this exhibition is also to promote this culture so that it does not disappear, so that people can be able to appreciate it.
Jackie Wambiru, My Culture.
Welcome back. Now let's delve into matters business, where President William Ruto insists that the government-to-government oil deal was conducted in an open and transparent manner. The president said the government was not a broker in the deal, but a guarantor for international oil firms to supply the commodity for 6 months on credit.
President William Ruto has accused the opposition for playing politics with the government-to-government oil.
Apologies for that technical glitch right there, but we'll get back to that particular story. Now moving on, where the Rural Electrification and Renewable Energy Corporation is planning to partner with the county governments to connect 1 million customers to the national power grid. REREC's acting chief officer Rose Mkalama says the devolved units partnership is part of the firm's strategy to raise 169 billion shillings in the short term to connect customers in far-fledged areas with power.
Kenya plans to connect 17 million households to the national grid by 2030 from the current estimated 9 million households. However, funding remains a barrier to achieving this.
The matching fund, which is a shilling for a shilling program with the counties and the constituencies, where they give us a shilling and we match it to the shilling, subject to 5 million shillings per constituency. The reason why this is critical is for us to be able to amass enough resources to reach even the underserved.
Under the 5-year, 169 billion shilling strategic plan, the corporation is banking on a project dubbed Matching Program that aims at incorporating county governments in financing electrification.
We are also partnering with the constituencies under the National Constituency Development Fund, NCDF, in the same program.
REREC's acting CEO Rose Mkalama says so far 14 counties have signed the partnership deal. Mkalama further called for increased training of artisans in the renewable energy sector to enhance the country's energy mix.
So cumulatively, we are looking at probably in the next about 7 years, us as a country investing as much as about 2,000 megawatts to be able to meet the demand.
Engineers have called for a review of regulations governing the sector to ensure it's gender sensitive to attract more women into the profession.
We have been able to compare notes on the emerging developments on our diverse engineering domains and offer articulate on the areas that are emerging very well. In addition, we have been challenged across 3 linkages of industry, the regulator, and of course, the academia. And these are areas that are all require our champion to deliver on our engineering a new one.
As the curtains fall on the 30th IEK International Convention, the corporation is banking on the matching program to help it attain its target of connecting 200,000 people to electricity per annum. I'm Regina Manyara reporting from Mombasa for KBC Channel 1.
Right, now moving on, the government has welcomed the partnership between Kenya Investment Authority and the United Nations Development Programme to develop and implement an investment facilitation framework and foreign direction investments attraction strategy. Trade and Investments Cabinet Secretary Rebecca Miano says the initiative will make it easier for investors to operate and expand their businesses.
Looking for expansion or different support within the existing ecosystem. So once you come through Kenya Investment Authority, you are either looking for opportunities to invest, those are just the general investment opportunities, or you're looking for ready opportunities. At the moment, the bankable opportunities that we are showcasing are those that are being packaged by our partner organization, which is KBC, Kenya Development Corporation, and other stakeholders. So we are strengthening that to ensure that we have the opportunities at concept stage and those opportunities that are investable. Now, once you come in and we've connected you to either investables or the general opportunities, or to then onboard your opportunity, and probably you're looking for partners, or looking for financing, or you're looking for diversity, or whatever it is that you're looking for within that, then you're taken through the journey. Now, if you're coming in and looking to do business in Kenya, you go through business registration. Now, there is this misconception that it takes longer to register as an investor in Kenya compared to other jurisdictions. If you look at the registration process, which is already digitized on eCitizen, and we avail it in our e-regulations within the Kenya Invest website, it's actually a very short turnaround time of 24 hours. What takes longer is other permits depending on what it is that you're coming to invest in. And therefore, we take you to the right team, to my right, for either registration, which is quick, we can do it within Kenya Invest. You don't have to be physically there, but if you're physical, you come. And again, we offer this service free of charge. Or probably you're looking at tax advisory, you're looking to open in a bank account, a branch, and all that. So those are services that you offer, including utilities. Kenya Power is physically located there at Kenya Invest, but also support you virtually. Or you're thinking of locating within a specific economic zone. So we point you to either EPZ zones, SEZ zone, and now the county aggregation parks, or simply place you in different parts of the country, including private zones such as Tatu and the rest. Some are simply asking, what are some of the incentives? We have that incentive framework, and we are able to then guide you on what to do to benefit from those incentives. Or you probably are looking for permits, licenses, and all that. Within the One Start, One Go Center, we have NEMA and other licensing entities. We are now setting up investment hubs within the counties to also fasten that process of county permitting and all that. So that's the journey.
All right, and with that, it's time for us to take you back to the story that we were supposed to play for you later on. Of course, thanks to the technical glitch, we weren't able to completely finish the story, but here we go. President William Ruto now insists the government-to-government oil deal that was conducted in an open and transparent manner. The president said the government was not a broker in the deal, but a guarantor for international oil firms to supply the commodity for 6 months on credit. Here's that story.
President William Ruto has accused the opposition for playing politics with the government-to-government oil deal. The president says the deal was above board and met all the constitutional thresholds, terming the deal as a necessity in easing the dollar demand in the country.
The G2G petroleum products engagement with our international oil companies is above board, is transparent, is innovative, and it has made the biggest difference in our country.
The president says the government only acted as a guarantor for firms supplying oil in the country for 6 months on credit and not as a broker.
We would have driven the country in the direction that was going then, of more subsidies, greater debt, more confusion, and the whole of that space.
President Ruto added that the government will not use its foreign currency reserves to prop up the value of the Kenyan shilling against the dollar.
I am not going to do what was done the last 2 years, to use our foreign currency, close to $2 billion, to keep an artificial rate of the Kenya shilling.
President Ruto made the remarks on Friday evening during the closing of the 2-day government officials retreat in Nairobi. The meeting sought to assess the administration's one-year progress.
We have had a candid, open and robust conversation on the country's current state of affairs and appreciated the difficult times that the people of Kenya are going through. We thus assure the country that the measures that we are undertaking have stabilized the economy and are bearing fruits.
The retreat noted that synergy was derived from the whole government approach, the model of delivery of services that enhances collaboration and cooperation. Alan Auko, Easy Friday.
All right, now moving on, where the government has been encouraged to increase public-private partnership in training the youth on modern technical skills to give them a global competitive edge. Now, Corporate Career Academy Executive Director Philip Pandey says modern skill set is key in attracting global companies set up subsidiaries in the country, increasing more job opportunities for the unemployed youth.
The summit offers a first-of-a-kind platform to assess the milestones, shortcomings and opportunities in the quest to achieve 100% transition of youth from training industry.
The fact on youth employability is such an epic discussion that we want to have. And stakeholders from the East African community, the African Union, the member state governments, the development partners that are supporting these processes.
With a population of about 5% being youths in our country, and unemployment rate being recorded at around 51%, this is an area, this is an issue, this is a social challenge that needs to be addressed.
We're looking at what we need to reinforce further to ensure when our young people are graduating, they fit into the job market.
And a very good evening. Welcome to Channel 1 Sports. I'm Bernard Okumu, and let's begin with soccer, where the national under-20 soccer team, Rising Stars, did bow out of the under-20 World Cup qualifiers after losing to Cameroon 3-2 during the second leg of the qualifiers played today at the Nyayo National Stadium. Now, the Rising Starlets, who are the under-20 side, did bow out 6-2 on aggregate after losing the first leg played last weekend by 3-0 following they lose, Cameroon advances to the fourth round of the qualifiers, where they'll meet either Democratic Republic of Congo or Egypt in the final round of the qualifiers. While Rising Starlets go back to the drawing board, and it marks the end of their campaign in this particular championship.
Tabitha Amoit, Naomi Eto jaza kamba ya pili hapa, piga mtu chobo hapa. Naomi Leslie Eto jaza shuti kule, tazama kwa mara nyingine tena alikuwa na tisha, lakini shuti lake.
And still on soccer, where the national soccer team Harambee Stars did begin their 2026 World Cup qualifiers by losing 2-1 to Gabon during the Group F match played last night in Franceville, that's in Gabon. The team will now travel to Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire for their second Group F match against Seychelles on Monday.
Masoud Juma put the Stars ahead in the 40th minute, but the Gabonese came back rejuvenated in the second half, scoring 2 goals in the 60th and 88th minute through Dennis Bonga and Gila Kanga respectively. The Kenyan team, coached by Engin Firat, will fly straight to Victoria, where they will face host Seychelles in their second Group F match on Monday next week. The return legs of the 2 matches will be held next year in Nairobi.
In beside the Kenyan defense.
Meanwhile, Burundi thrashed Gambia 3-2 in the other Group F match. Ivory Coast will face Seychelles tonight in Olympic Stadium of Mbibe. Jenna Bule for Easy Friday.
And the Ruaraka-based team headquarters sub-unit qualified for the finals of the GSU Commandant of Football tournament after beating Embakasi B 3-1 through post-match penalties at the GSU headquarters campus. Now in another match, which will mean that Reki sub-unit defeated Quebec Company to set up a final with the headquarters sub-unit.
Headquarters were held to a goalless draw by Embakasi B in the semi-final of the Commandant Cup at the Ruaraka Stadium. The match, which was affected by bad weather, was decided through a penalty shootout, with the headquarters winning 3-1.
Game imekuwa ngumu kwa sababu ya weather condition, lakini tumejikakamua tukangangana. Weather pia ilikuwa kama ni opponent matope, lakini tumengangana at least Mungu akatusaidia tukashindana na penalty.
Tunaenda kuwork on ile mistake kidogo tumeona, tunaenda kushughulikia tuhakikishe tunapata early goals ndio tusifike mahali tumefika leo.
Kuhusu game tumepata challenge about kiwanja, ground yenyewe tujazoea, but game imekuwa poa. Hatuwezi sema game ilikuwa mbaya. Game watu lose. Nimekubali lose, but sijakubali ushindi.
Tulikuwa tumejipanga poa na tulikuwa tunajua tutashinda, but unfortunately pia hali ya weather na ground haikuwa mzuri sana. Alafu the red card nini, tulicheza 1 man down but we fought till the end na imekuwa poa.
In another semi-final, REC sub-unit defeated Quebec 1-0. Elfas Nyanga scored the only goal for REC that sent the team into the finals. Headquarters will battle REC in the finals, while Embakasi B will play Quebec in the third place playoffs. Sela Onyango for Easy Friday.
It should be a mouth-watering final between headquarters sub-unit against Reki in the final tomorrow. Thank you, Stella, for that report. Moving on, where the 2023 Safari Sevens rugby competition, which makes a comeback after a 1-year break, gets underway this weekend at the RFA grounds here in Nairobi. Now, the annual competition last took place in 2021 at the Nyayo National Stadium after last year's event was cancelled by the Kenya Rugby Union board due to what they termed as unavoidable circumstances. Defending champion Shujaa will open their campaign against South Africa Ulsters, while Lionesses will play South Africa's Tuks Sevens. Now the Shujaa is in Pool A alongside Red Whalers, Uganda, South Africa Ulsters, Tropic Sevens, while Pool B has Germany, Morans, Samurai, KCB and Western Province Select. In the women's competition, Lionesses will play Uganda, Tuks Sevens and Tropic Sevens. Now KBC Channel 1 and sister station Y254 will broadcast the matches live from the RFA grounds. And now to athletics, where 59-year-old Priscilla Biwott did bag a gold medal for Kenya in the 5,000 meters race at the ongoing 14th edition of the Africa Masters Athletics Championship at the Pleat Dutch Stadium in Pretoria, South Africa. Now Kenyans have dominated the championship that has brought together Masters athletes aged 35 years and above.
Priscilla Biwott, the oldest member of the team at 59 years, emerged the winner in the 5,000 meters race in the women's 55 years and above category. She clocked 21 minutes, 15.88 seconds. Kenneth Mboru also won a gold medal in the 10,000 meters in the men's 50 years and above category after clocking 32 minutes, 46.13 seconds. Sylvia Chematui, being the youngest athlete in the team at 36, also won the 400 meter sprint after timing 56.18 seconds in the women's 35 to 40 years category. Elizabeth Mumia-Mase won the 400 meters race in the women's 40 years category and settled for silver in the 200 meter sprint in the same age category behind Hutchinson Shona of South Africa. Mercy Kiptoo won women's 5,000 meters, 35 to 40 years category, clocking a time of 18 minutes, 25.68 seconds. Linda Saina bagged a silver medal in the 200 meters at 31.26 seconds in the women's 50 years age category. 10 athletes led by former world marathon record holder Patrick Makau are representing Kenya in the 3-day championship event that ends tomorrow. Nora Mwangi for Easy Friday.
And across the borders, where Elfin Evans led Rally Japan by 1 minute 49.9 seconds overnight after streaming wet conditions in Friday's opening leg caught out several of his FIA World Rally Championship peers. Now the torrential rainfall, thick fog, as well as roads covered with damp leaves were just some of the challenges faced by crews on the first full day of the action at the 2023 season finale. A minor overshoot in the second stage of the day did not prevent the Welshman from reaching the lunchtime service halt with 26 seconds in hand over Thierry Neuville, his main competition for the runner-up spot in this year's Drivers' Championship. Well, and on that note of the Rally Japan, which is the grand finale of the WRC circuits, how we end a sports edition on today's event, of course, on Channel 1 News at this particular hour. Shiksha?
Right, so what happens next? You know, yesterday Harambee Stars, that was quite an interesting performance there. We were expecting a lot, but I guess things didn't fall through as we had planned. Yeah. So what happens next in the World Cup qualifiers for Kenya?
Yeah, quite a tough result for Kenya, going down 2-1, especially after leading in the opening minutes and away. So which means that their second game, it's like a league. The 5 teams, you have to get a point at every stage or in every game. So they play Seychelles on Monday in their second match, and we hope that they bounce back from the defeat and record a probable desired result for most of us, the Kenyans.
All right, looking forward to that, and let's see what happens in the next match. And speaking of seeing what happens next, coming up next on the other side of the studio, we've got Mamito, Kenya's queen of comedy. She's going to be coming into the studio telling us about her journey in the industry as a comedian, as a content creator, as a brand ambassador. She wears so many hats. So we'll be talking to her and getting to know about her story in just a few minutes. Cole Jacks as well on the decks. It's definitely a good Friday, an easy one. So I'll see you on the other side. And that's it from the news segment.
Thank you so much. I'm Bernardo Kumu. Have a lovely watch.
French accent. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oui, oui, oui. That's all I'm going to say. I'm talking about Mamito, the queen of comedy. She's on my hot seat tonight, and we're going to be getting right into it. Hello.
Hi.
How are you, mademoiselle?
Oh, oui. Coupe kubamba.
Coupe kubamba. So I was very prepared to try and be serious with you. I don't even know how, because every time I watch your videos, I actually lol. You know when people say lol and they're texting, they're just like this.
Ati lol, el mau.
LMAO. But with you, it's like, your videos are hilarious. I wonder, how do you conceptualize half the things that we watch? Where is all that coming from? Mamito.
It's coming from everyday life and like observation. Like people, things happen, you know, like you're walking and then something has happened and then you're like, okay, that's a weird thing. Ama you observe like these things keeps happening to this, or your friends come and tell you a story and then you all relate to that story and then you're like, okay, this is a more relatable story to be talking about. But mostly I try and make it fun. I have so much fun while shooting these videos.
You do look like you really enjoy your job. You're so passionate about it. You're just so into comedy. And it shows in your videos.
I love comedy. The amount of love I have for comedy, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. It's up there.
It's up there.
We love to see. Speaking of Friends, you mentioned Friends. You're having a show. Before this one, you actually had Mamito and Girlfriends, which was a huge hit. And then now we have Mamito and Friends. Tell us more about it.
So I had Mamito and Friends last year, December. That was the first one. And then I had Mamito and Girlfriends. And now I have Mamito and Friends.
Right.
And it's a stand-up comedy show that has... The friends are comedians. So we're going to have Vafa from South Africa, AK Dance from South Sudan, and then Tai Ngashira from Kenya, and Dag Mutai also from Kenya. So I try and bring in my very funny friends that I know that they are hilarious.
That's amazing. And it's so cool that you've actually, you've gone Pan-African. You're not just sticking to Kenya. You have someone from, South Sudan. You have someone from South Africa. So how exactly did you manage to contact these guys? Do you have a community of comedians that you are connected to and you have good networks, strong friends all around the country? And of course, Africa, continent.
All around the continent, yes, because right now we tour around. So you find in Uganda there's a few comedy clubs. In Tanzania also there's a few comedy clubs. And South Africa, they have very many comedy clubs because their comedy is actually more advanced than ours. So when you go there, you become friends with people, with other comedians. And then now, right now, Africa, when it comes in terms of comedy, it's becoming smaller, and you can find last month I went to Cape Town to do comedy, and then this time my friend is coming to do comedy here. So it's more of it's becoming an exchange where you come, I come, like that.
Nice.
And then maybe next year I'll go to Uganda. But I've performed in Uganda.
You have?
Yes.
And how was the reception like?
It was beautiful. One of the most amazing shows I had. But there's one I had that was bad.
Which one?
Yeah? It was at downtown. Before me, somebody came, performed, acrobats, jumped, rolled, akalala chini. And then I was like, hey, I have to go back. I have to go after that person and perform. Ooh la 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 la. It was hard.
So let me ask you a question. You said it was a bad performance. Do you mean you're trying to make people laugh and no one's laughing?
Yeah.
You've actually had those experiences?
Yeah, so many you don't even count.
Wow. And how do you react? How do you, get past those? Because I'm sure it's at times like that you're wondering, wait, what am I doing wrong? Or what am I not doing?
Yes, but if the jokes are working, then it's the audience.
Okay.
If the jokes have worked before. Then you're just like, okay, maybe it's the audience, maybe it's the cold, manini, people are being rained on, or something like that. But there's a time when you're trying to do new material. You're trying to juggle which one is working, like that. You don't rush to make people laugh because it's just like having a conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before it used to be like, I used to be scared when I don't make people laugh.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, as long as I can get your attention.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I
can be a pastor at times.
I love that. Mamito, tell me, when you were growing up, you know, it's a very interesting choice of career because you can never tell your parents or you can never tell your family that, oh, me, I want to be a comedian. They look at you like you're an actual joke, for real. Because back in the day, it was always like, me, I have to be an engineer, me, I have to be an accountant, me, I have to be a doctor. Or even like to kind of push it a little bit, you can say, I want to be an actor, for instance. So when you said, or when you discovered your love for comedy, your love for performing, how did you break that to your family, your loved ones, and how did they react to that?
My mom knew since I was young because I used to go practice with her choir when she went for choir practice.
Okay.
I would go with her, and then I used to sing. She used to sing soprano. This is like a grown people choir.
Wow.
That I'm singing when I'm like 7, 8.
Yeah.
I'm involved. I want to write the songs. Now there's no way. She's like, oh, me, I'm going for choir practice. I'm like, I'm going with you.
Coming.
So, and the funny bit is she was singing soprano. I was singing alto.
Oh.
An 8-year-old singing alto.
That must be very interesting.
Yeah, so it was, so my love for acting and dancing, I used to be like in charge. We used to dance. We used to be very involved with anything like performance, you know, act during Christmas, things like that. And I would actually want to be the one shining, you know, like it's me, it's my time. And even for my grandmother, there's a time I lived with her for quite a while. And then she tells me how I was like 3 years old, and in church I was like the one behind the pastor. I'm just like, when people start dancing, I'm dancing the most.
Right.
So for me, it didn't come as a surprise to my family that actually I was taking the actor, comedian.
Yeah, the creative
choice.
like choice of life.
Yeah.
Quite
Even
career.
my mom always thinks that maybe I could have been a musician. But
no.
Maybe I have some hits.
Yeah. You
Maybe
do.
I should do
You
an
do.
album.
We do. We're waiting. Sunny.
Do you mean me and Bien?
Me and Bien.
Yeah, Bald Woman edition.
We love it. Mamito, tell me about this, journey of yours. You've been in the industry for quite some time. In fact, I feel like you are one of the most renowned female comedians in Kenya, in a space that's very dominated by men. How was it for you in the beginning, trying to find your space in an area, in a field where it's very, very populated with the male species, boy child, are dominating, and then you come in pole pole, and then slowly by slowly you're becoming a favorite, you're becoming a Kenyan sweetheart, everyone's like calling you the queen of comedy. How exactly did you manage to get that fame and the recognition in such a difficult industry?
First of all, beginning there was a lot of tears. Before performing, you're just like, yeah. Then you go back. But also, like, the guys in the industry, some of them were very helpful. They're just like, okay, like when you go, somebody has told you something else, another guy was just being, a guy. Yeah. And then you go tell this one, and then this one is more reasonable.
Yeah.
So you're just like, okay, this one is my friend. But also, like, I've had male comedians who are really supportive.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And they're just like, okay, you have to say it like this. And some of them have mentored me, which was really good. But also, it was also my love for comedy, because the minute I just stepped, the first time I did comedy, stand-up comedy, I didn't know what I was like, this is it. This is it, I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
So even when somebody tells me, oh, this and this and that, I'm just like, you don't know what I feel after performing.
It just makes you feel alive.
Yes.
Happy.
Joy.
Even like right now when she's talking about it, like she's just so happy, just describing her love for comedy, which is so beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Mamito, you know, you are somebody who a lot of young women, comedians, just upcoming actors and creatives look up to, right? Have you also managed to mentor upcoming comedians? Because you said that you had a lot of people helping you out and a lot of actually friends who kind of showed you around, showed you the way, told you what to do, what not to do. So are you doing that for the younger generation?
Yeah, so what we have done, we have opened a few comedy clubs around Nairobi.
Like Punchline was actually one of them, right?
Yeah,
that you were a part of in the beginning.
Yes, so there's Punchline, there's Stand Up Collective. And
that one too.
Yeah, there's Arora Comedy Club. So these ones are like, we are like the pioneers of this, but now we find like there's more female comedians due to
amazing,
that.
yeah.
And but also like when it comes to the small skits that I do, I try act and just bring up some of my favorite comedians, and then we're gonna do a skit with them. So I do that. But also like in Kibera, where I come from, we have Kibera Creative Arts. This is a CBO, a community-based organization that is only based on art and creatives, trying to help them become and achieve their dreams. So I'm also like involved in that. So pretty in the community.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's nice to see that you're actually, you know, helping the younger generation to go in and evolve and become better versions of themselves. Because I feel like no one teaches you how to be funny.
No.
Right? It's either in you or you don't have it. But even those that have it, they don't know how to fine-tune it.
Yes, but also you can learn it. Yeah, you can learn to be funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's,
I'm going to come for lessons.
come. Because it's for you, you won't be naturally. You won't just be making things out of nowhere.
Yeah, like witty and those one-liners.
Yeah, but it's good. Some people have to learn, like for speeches. If you are a boring MP, you're a boring governor, you have to put in some comedy in your speech. And I have a few friends who write for some of the speeches.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just like, my mind is blown. Imagine like somebody actually writing a speech which is a bit funny, and you know, I guess the audience will react to it better and laugh a little. They'll be more interactive.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, every president, some of the, even presidents, even like you have to, because you have to loosen people, and comedy does that immediately.
We love that. I mean, I got to learn something new today right now, thanks to you, Mamito, because I had no idea that you can actually like write speeches for president or for somebody and insert some comedy here and there. I do know that there are people, the communication specialists and directors who write the speeches. But I didn't know that you can actually hire somebody who is in the comedy industry to make it more interesting and fun.
Yeah, you just look at that boring piece of paper and then you're like, add this.
So comedy specialist.
Yes,
we love it.
You just come with your biro and just pew, pew, pew. And then you're like,
you know, it's interesting how like right now, life is very difficult. I mean, everything that we talk about in this country of ours is the economy. And you actually have created humorous situations, you know, based on our economy. And I feel like, how do you manage to do that? Take, for example, a real life issue, a challenge, and then put it into comedy and try and educate people at the same time. You're sending a message, but in a way that will get people's attention. So how do you manage to do that?
It's because now, you know, like everyone is thinking about it. So it's
cost of living.
Yeah, it's a topic that everyone wants to talk about. But also like, the easiest way to get information without people feeling, are we learning?
Yeah.
Because even
or being lectured.
Even for you, maybe in school, your favorite teacher was the one who was like funny.
Yes.
You're just like, hey, it's time for CRE.
Yes.
And then you're super excited to see that teacher. So that's the same logic that I use. Like, if you use comedy, it's easy for someone to chew the information, to take in the information. Yeah.
Interesting. Mamito, tell me the difference between a stand-up comedian and somebody who just does skits online. Because we've seen, like, for example, Crazy Kenna right now, he started off online.
Yeah.
And then now he's going on to do a whole show and a whole experience. And you, on the other hand, it was the reverse, right?
Yeah,
You started off as a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And then now you went on to do social media content, and then you started going viral. So, like, how exactly do these two people manage to do what they do and excel in both ways?
Yeah, I think right now we are in a good time where social media allows you to do whatever you want.
Right.
Because then it was, when I started, stand-up was the only way you can.
Yes, of course, the Churchill show.
Yeah. So you can only like be a comedian or you go to a TV series that's for comedy or things like that. But now you can start, and then like right now people know Crazy Kenna. Now he's still a comedian because as long as you're trying to make people laugh, it does not matter how. As long as people are laughing, that is reason enough for you to be like, okay, that's the same craft that you're using, you know, to write jokes. Maybe, yeah, because the end product is to try to make people laugh. And as long as you're achieving that, it does not matter, oh, you're a comedian who does this, you're a comedian who does not do this. Because right now you're finding even like comedians who are known in America and around the country, the globe, whatever, you find them that now they're using social media and they're trying to be like, oh yeah, I can also like say this joke, let me explain this situation, let me do this. You can find like Trevor Noah was doing stand-up, and then after that he did a political satire commentary thing. So it does not mean that when you're a stand-up comedian that the only thing you should do is this. As long as you can make people laugh, just do whatever. You can do it on the street, do it as a stand-up, do it kwa show, do it for your mom.
I love that. And what can we expect from you this 9th and 10th of December, right?
Yeah.
What exactly do you have in store for us? Give us something small that, you know, people can be like, okay, we want to come.
The thing about the show that we do is it's raw.
Okay.
It's very raw.
Okay.
It's raw.
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
We are saying things in our hearts.
Yes.
So, and very intriguing. But also I am happy because it's the show that you're gonna get different type of emotions and views. You'll talk about it. You're just like, okay, after that you're gonna either talk about the economy or something you're just gonna be like, okay, what is up with me and this behavior? So that's why it's written like it's 18 and above, because we try and make sure that the comedian is not limited to whichever topic. They can talk about whatever they want to talk about.
Okay.
And that is how we exercise our freedom of speech.
We love that. And we love that it's a free space for you to actually say what you want, do what you want. Because, you know, sometimes online you're a bit worried of how people will react, who's watching. But then again, when you're doing it in front of a live audience, you can interact with them depending on their reaction, then pump back in or do something that's, you know, like it's impromptu sometimes.
Yes.
That's why you said it's raw.
It's raw. Yeah, it's very, very, very fun.
Yeah.
It's very fun. The people who have come, they usually, they have to, we have like a 30 minutes of people just staying out and then just like getting to know each other. Because it starts at 7 and ends by 10. So by 10, we are done. And because it's December.
3 hours?
Yeah,
the show
or
is
2.
Wow. 2 hours? That's a lot of work. How long have you been prepping for it for?
The thing about now prepping is that the good thing is we have comedy clubs, so I can prep. I can prepare. I can just be like, the whole year I'm just like writing material, trying to work this, make this work. So that's the good thing. That's why we started with the comedy clubs, because we're like, the comedy clubs are like the gym. So you don't have to be worried every time you have a big show that, oh my God, I have to write now. So mostly what stand-up comedians do, around is they go and they work out their material in comedy clubs for a period of time.
Okay.
Without telling you what they are doing.
Okay.
And then after that period of time, now they have shows where they can tour. That's why if you follow any comedian who is known, they have tour dates. And they say, okay, from this I'm going to this, and then they have like a special with a name. So that happens like that. But because us, we are starting, that's why we're like, okay, now this is our one big show. Doug has done a few big shows, and also Ty has done a few big shows. So as we are starting like that, and then maybe next time, then people will start touring. And where you can say, oh, this is the name of my tour, and then I'm touring from this to this to this. Yeah, so that is the dream.
Amazing.
So next year, gonna do that.
I'm very, very excited to know that next year, you know, you're going to be having even bigger things lined up for your audiences, which is what we love to see. So congratulations for that. And as we wrap up, you know, one thing that I've always wanted to ask comedians is, do you ever feel sad? I know you're a human being. I know you have emotions, but I've never ever seen anything about you that indicates that, you know, you have a low moment. Or is it just all that you have to just pull a face and act it out because, you know, you're a performer, you're an actor at the end of the day. So I'm sure you also have your low moments. So how do you deal with those and then put your sadness away and try and continue being funny?
Yeah, I think we are the saddest humans.
Really?
we are very, because it's pain.
Yes.
You're using it at times, mostly like when you start. There are moments where you're just like, okay, this is very funny and very dark. So, for example, if you hear a comedian making a joke about death.
Yes.
And they're joking about their mom's death.
Yeah.
For them, it was a painful moment that they just chose to rise above it.
Okay, okay.
So, how I make sure that I'm not there in the loop, because you can be there like for a very long time.
Yes.
Is exercise, meet friends, try new things, you know, like go out, dance.
I love that. You said dance, I'm all here for it because I do know dance for me is what keeps me happy, no matter what. So
yeah,
I'm here for it. Are we going to dance?
Yes.
After this?
Yes,
I'm going to make Mamito dance very soon. Make sure you watch us. She's already practicing. And do come for her show 9th and 10th. How do they get tickets?
So you go to mamitoeunice.hustlesasa.shop, but also on my Instagram and my TikTok and whichever social media, you just go and link on my bio.
Okay,
you will
that's
find
it.
me,
and you can buy the tickets and you can come and support her. So please do support Mamito. She has an incredible show lined up for you, 2 to 3 hours, as she said, of comedians, not just from Kenya, but, you know, from the whole of Africa. We've got South Sudan, South Africa, our own Kenyan team, plus Mamito, the superstar who's going to be cracking you up in December, because let's be honest, this year has been tough. We need to laugh, and she's going to do that for us. So make sure you get your tickets. Go into her Instagram, Mamito Eunice, and just check it out on her bio. Buy those tickets. Go watch Kenyan content, Kenyan comedy, and we'll all be happy. We'll all live happily ever after.
Yes, laughter is the medicine.
Laughter is the medicine. And that's all from me. I'll catch up with you next week, same time, same place. Don't go anywhere, because Cole Jax is going to be bringing the music remedy for you. He's got disco funk lined up for you with the best Friday Fever tracks all the way until 12:30. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you next week. Bye.
In order to make the payment of stamp duty for land transactions a seamless process, the Kenya Revenue Authority has now made it possible for the public to make payments at the State Department for Lands and Physical Planning. From November 27, 2023, all payments for land transactions attracting stamp duty shall be made to the State Department for Lands and Physical Planning through eCitizen via paybill number 22222